This clown tried to smuggle £8 million worth of coke from the UK. She was jailed but has now been released and deported back to America. Leandra Royer was part of a gang who were jailed after a plot to smuggle £8 million worth of cocaine into the UK was uncovered. She was one of 5 women and 2 men who had been recruited by crime bosses to pick up 12 bags containing more than 300 kilograms of the Class A drug from Manchester Airport to distribute in the UK. The recruited members, all US nationals, were split into teams and travelled to Manchester on different flights. Brian Marial and Lakeza Greer flew in from JFK Airport in New York. Charles Mass and his girlfriend Brianna Hunt came to the UK from Orlando, and Yulibeth Gonzalez, Leandra Royer and Chloe Sandoval flew from Los Angeles. Their arrivals, on the morning of the 31st of May 2024, were timed to coincide with an incoming flight from Cancun, Mexico. On that plane were the 12 suitcases full of cocaine. Each had a different name tag. The members were each given the details of 2 cases to collect. Each were told they would be paid between $4,000 and $5,000, plus travel expenses. Leandra Royer helped recruit some of the others. In a message to a friend, she promised it was quick cash and claimed that nobody had ever been arrested and said it was 100% secure. A member of staff at Manchester Terminal 2 baggage spotted a bag with unusual contents, rectangular-shaped blocks. More bags were then flagged before Border Force officers struck. The gang had been given instructions to hide in the toilets before getting the cases. Chloe Sandoval picked up a bag and took it somewhere in the Bury area of Greater Manchester before returning to the Hilton Hotel. Yulibeth Gonzalez picked up a case, but she was stopped by Border Force officers. Charles Mass and Brianna Hunt aborted their plan and also made their way to the Hilton Hotel, where they were joined by Leandra Royer, who had been tipped off. Brian Marial and Lakeza Greer were detained as they stood by the carousel. Later that day, Leandra Royer and Chloe Sandoval were arrested at the Hilton Hotel, whilst Charles Mass and Brianna Hunt were naked in bed when they were detained. Chloe Sandoval, Brianna Hunt, Leandra Royer, Lakeza Greer, Charles Mass and Yulibeth Gonzalez all pleaded guilty to frequently evading the prohibition of the importation of a Class A controlled drug before a trial was due to begin. Brian Marial stood trial in February 2025 and was convicted by a jury. He was jailed for 13 years. Charles Mass and Leandra Royer were sentenced to 11 years. Yulibeth Gonzalez was jailed for 9 years. Brianna Hunt for 7 years. Lakeza Greer was sentenced to 8 years, and Chloe Sandoval was jailed for 4 years. In September 2025, due to the introduction of a new law, Leandra Royer's sentence was recalculated, and it was agreed that she would be deported back to the States. On December 3, 2025, Leandra got on a flight back to America, along with a loaded debit card, as an incentive to leave the country after serving only 19 months behind bars of her 11-year sentence. She didn't have to serve any time when she arrived back in America. Follow the page and leave a comment on any other criminal case.